Shedeur Sanders was one of the most fan-loved and heavily debated quarterbacks coming out of the 2025 draft because of two things. One was because people thought he was an elite QB prospect and that he was the next Joe Burrow, and two is because football fans were enraged when he fell to the 5th round. It's clear NFL teams didn't like him, and I can tell you it's much more because of him as a player than his name or his personality. And his rookie season showed exactly why. Shedeur Sanders had one of the worst rookie seasons that I've ever seen based on the expectations and hype with him coming out. From not reading the game right to too many of his good plays or covering up bad fundamentals to him not being good at what he was supposed to be as a QB prospect. And at the end, I'll explain what Shedeur Sanders' biggest problem is, and if he doesn't change that, then he will not make it in the NFL. What every quarterback in the NFL needs to be good at is processing, which is reading defenses correctly, seeing the field right with your reads, not making critical errors, and making good decisions with the ball. In his rookie year, Shedeur Sanders was catastrophically bad in this regard. Every single thing I just listed, he was bad at. And the data shows that as well, and how often he was making critical errors. Sanders had a 7-to-10 touchdown to interception ratio, which is a very vanilla way to analyze a QB. So we will look at his big time throw rate and his turnover related play rate. That is a 4.5% big time throw rate to a whopping 5.7% turnover worthy play rate. 5.7% is really bad in the NFL, but because rookie quarterbacks are usually not the best at handling pressure, this overall turnover worthy play rate can be skewed if Sanders was not good while under pressure. So we will break up this overall stat to see what his critical error rate was when he was kept clean, when he was under pressure, and when he was blitzed. And we still see that even when given clean pockets, his turnover worthy play rate was still bad, meaning he wasn't reading the field correctly when there was no pressure. Now that's notable, but what if we compare it to other rookie quarterbacks in this draft class in the past 2 years? Well, we'll see that Ward, Chuck, and Dart were at a healthy level for being rookies. Chuck was also elite in this regard, but the only two quarterbacks that are remotely as bad as Sanders was with critical errors while being kept clean are Will Levis with a 4.1% turnover worthy play rate and Spencer Rattler with a 3.4% turnover worthy play rate while being kept clean. The crazy thing is, we remember how bad Bryce Young was when he was a rookie, and even in this particular data, he was nowhere near as bad as Sanders because Young had a 2.1% turnover rate play rate while being kept clean. Not only is this bad for Shedeur Sanders, but it's also a sign that he's not going to work out. If you can't make good choices when you're not even under pressure, then there's severe issues with your processing, and the film shows just that. This particular play against the Bengals hits two of my points on Shedeur Sanders having poor processing, and shows him getting mentally fried by defenses. The coverage pre-snap would be cover 0, with it post-snap rotating to cover 7, maybe Tampa 2 if you consider the linebacker deep enough. When Sanders gets a snap, he looks right down the barrel of the defense and to the left slightly because he wants to throw this dig route. However, as you can clearly see, this is a no-go. Zero reason to throw here, and he does. It was almost intercepted but dropped. This is an absolute blunder of not only making a poor decision, but also having poor processing by not reading the defense properly. This is the worst kind of turnover play rate you can have. Here's another similar situation where Sanders gets fried by what the defense is doing. The Steelers are playing between cover 3 and cover 4. Post snap again moves to cover 7 or Tampa 2 if you want to say the linebacker was deep enough or not. It's also third down. The first thing Shedeur Sanders does is look to the tight end running this corner route. Because of this rotation by the Steelers, it opens up this throw. This is NFL open, and this is also where quarterbacks coming out of college really get stuck. They don't know the difference between college open and NFL open. Sanders does think about throwing this, but he moves off this. Bad move. When he does move off this, he sees a lane to scramble and takes off, but he doesn't get very far. And as we go through these plays, you'll see this more and more of him passing up opportunities that he should be taking. The dual errors will continue. Cincinnati is running a cover 1 variation. Now this is a prime time opportunity to throw on the outside. Sanders will get that opportunity with Bond's breakaway speed here. The safety is in no position to catch back up or be in a position to prevent this big time throw from happening. Sanders completely misses this. He really doesn't even try to look either. This is poor processing. You have to be paying attention to this because in the NFL, these explosive throws are becoming harder and harder to find. Now part of the reason safety is not even paying much attention to the outside go is because Sanders, and throughout his whole rookie season, is for the most part looking to only the first and second reads and staying locked onto it the whole way. This is not how you properly read NFL defenses. Even though Sanders is glued to this read like a kid with eye candy, it is functionally open, but Sanders throws with poor accuracy and it's almost intercepted. Another turnover worthy play. Now the Steelers are presenting a cover 2 variation. Sanders under center as well. He fakes it to the running back and looks to the right, seeing this guy open on the comeback route. He sits on it and decides not to throw there, but then looks here of all passes. This is another terrible idea. In the NFL, the average player is a significantly better athlete than the average college player. So even for a pass rush specialist like Nick Herbig, he can close gaps like this in no time, and Sanders throws to him. Awful decision. It's an absolutely atrocious play. Herbig drops it, but this should have been picked off and gone for pick 6. It should be noted the ball was tipped, but based on where he's throwing this was going to be bad either way. If you have watched a lot of Shedeur Sanders highlights, you'll see highlights of him taking off scrambling for pretty decent gains on the ground or making explosive throws downfield. While the outcome is good, oftentimes, in particular when he's scrambling, the fundamentals are terrible. Here the Bengals are running a cover 1 variation. Sanders is under center once again. Faking the handoff, he rolls right, having this comeback route opening up. He looks at this, but for whatever reason, he moves off it and instead takes off running. This is open, even with the safety chilling over here underneath. If Sanders threw it when he saw it, this ball would have been perfectly fine. It just takes him placing it towards the sideline and then throwing with anticipation. Sure, it's a good scramble, it got the first down, but it's not good fundamentals whatsoever. The Steelers are running cover 3 and Sanders is under center once again. Faking the handoff, he looks to the right and sees both this receiver and this receiver not open yet, but the outside wide receiver will beat, with this corner flipping his hips because he thinks he's going to be running a post, but then he'll cut outside and be open. Meanwhile, Sanders has pressure coming from the edge, but he just needs to step on the pocket and be patient. Patient, he's not, and he tries to take off but does not get very far. Coverage here would be cover 3, though it does look like cover 1 pre-snap. Sanders, under center, will take the snap and roll right. He immediately looks to the middle and sees Judy wide open with no one near him. But Shedeur does think about throwing to him for a minute, but decides to check it down to the running back. Why he does this, I have no idea. Sure, it's good by him for making completion. It's not necessarily a negative play, but there's no good reason for passing this up though. It's open. This is basic quarterbacking. The Browns are now in the red zone, with the Bengals running another cover 2 variation. It's third down as well, so this is it. Shedeur gets a snap, looking left for a moment and then to the middle. He sees what appears to be a wide open space to run, but it's a trap. The linebacker who originally shows he's going to blitz holds off. Why? Well, it's because throughout Shedeur's tape, he passes up throws to take off running. So what defenses started to do is fake leaving pockets open and then close them off. And that's what's happening here. And again, in the NFL, the average player is so much better than the average college player. But that's what's happening here. The most important thing here is that he had 2 choices to throw to. One being the whip route, which is short of the red zone, but it gets you close enough to maybe do something on 4th down. And 2, this tight end will be open technically on this corner route. It's not wide open, but it's a realistic throw and where Shedeur should have been waiting to throw, if anything, especially with it being 3rd down. At the very least, Sanders should have waited to see if it was open or not and then take off. Shedeur Sanders knows how to process defenses and go through reads. There's no reason to be playing like Malik Willis, who when he first came out, he kept taking off, not dropping back to pass, and only throwing the ball until it was very clearly wide open. It's the problem that Justin Fields had and why he has not worked out in the NFL, and now Shedeur Sanders is on the same trajectory. The kind of surprising thing about watching Shedeur Sanders in his rookie season was that he was very inaccurate. I'd say kind of surprising because I didn't think he was an accurate QB coming out of college. Like his deep ball accuracy was rough and it was not in rhythm for wide receivers. But many people did regard him as one of the more accurate quarterbacks coming out, at least in the 2025 draft class. Shedeur Sanders, in his rookie season at least, was one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. And overall accuracy is grayed out to be the 4th lowest accurate QB in all the NFL. This is pretty concerning, considering he's supposed to be a very accurate quarterback. Now, when we narrow it down to deep ball accuracy, he was graded out to be the 13th best quarterback with 45.8 adjusted completion rate, which goes against what I'm saying by saying he is an accurate deep. I will show you guys why in the film in a moment. But to explain it simply, adjusted completion rate is a great stat. It's not wrong based on what it is accounting for. That is completions plus drops or passes that were caught but the wide receiver just whiffed on the play. What that doesn't account for is passes that were caught but were off target. That is not baked into the equation. I know there's stats looking into that. I'm not sure that's something that you guys can realistically access because I do try to use data that you guys can go get for yourselves as well. At the intermediate range of the field, he was also the 4th lowest graded quarterback with a 51.4 adjusted completion rate. Now, if we narrow that down further, you'll see that over the middle, he was awful in this range. In the NFL, throwing over the middle is very important. But the crazy thing to me is this. Shedeur Sanders was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL throwing short. To me, that's crazy because Cam Ward and Tyler Shuck in college were not good at throwing short. They're inaccurate in that regard for whatever reason. Shedeur Sanders was good in that regard, so that's the weird thing to me. Overall, these numbers are not that surprising given Shedeur Sanders' playing style. The truth is he isn't a pocket quarterback. He should be, and we'll talk about that more soon after this part of the film. The coverage pre-snap will look to be cover 4, slowly morphing into cover 3, then at the snap a cover 2 variation. Shedeur gets a snap, looks to his right, hesitates as he's likely looking to the out route, and ultimately goes for the tight end running this corner route. Now if we pause here, we will see that this is open if he places it at the sideline. If he places this anywhere else, like behind or out in front, this is getting intercepted. Shedeur throws it inaccurately, however, the ball going way left, totally inaccurate, and the safety somehow fails to track the ball well, overplaying it. But the tight end makes an incredible adjustment and catch for the touchdown. Technically, this is a catch and it'll go down as completion, but that was terrible accuracy. You can make the argument that he was bumped into. I don't personally think he was disrupted enough for it to majorly affect the throw for where he was throwing to. At minimum, it shows that he does not have the arm talent to make these throws like the best QBs in NFL are. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stafford, they are for the most part unaffected by being bumped into, for the most part. But it's because they have good arm talent or the arm strength to still make that throw. Shedeur, after these next few plays, clearly does not. It's the same thing here. The Bengals are presenting cover 0 and cover 0 will be with a few guys backing off post snap. That doesn't change the coverage though here. Shedeur is already looking deep and he launches it with a clean pocket, no defenders interfering with this, and it's underthrown. Bond was wide open too. All Sanders has to do is drop in the bucket on the outside and it's a touchdown. But this is exactly what Shedeur struggled with in college. Hitting those goal balls or deep corner or fade routes. He simply lacks the consistent accuracy to hit those in stride, forcing receivers to have to come back for the ball. And he clearly made Bond have to do that here. This also shows and really proving Shedeur has an arm strength issue. He struggles to hit these outside the number throws. And most of these big time throws or explosive plays are either not as far downfield or they're more over the middle. So his explosive throws are right down center field. And that's intentional because it isn't as far downfield compared to outside the numbers, obviously. Against the Bears, we'll see another massive miss. Where Shadeur's going with the ball is here, with the corner expecting cut inside or out for the first down. But he's surprised that Bond goes deep as he's playing way too shallow and this is a wide open throw. Shedeur just needs a drop in the bucket in which he again misses it by a lot. He also takes too much extra time to throw to the obvious open pass, which invites the rush. I don't think the rush majorly affected the throw though. At least the NFL quarterback should not be struggling with that. Now for me, the more concerning thing I saw in the film was him missing line drive throws in critical situations. Missing or not placing deep balls well is one concern, but when you're missing line drive throws consistently on third downs and critical situations, that becomes a serious problem. Coverage will look to be cover 4, but it's actually this drifting cover 3. Sanders gets the snap and looks to the left. You'll have this out route becoming open if he fires it immediately, but he doesn't, moving off the read to this receiver breaking inside. This is open. If Sanders throws it right, it should get the first down as long as it's not behind, but he misses a throw, throwing it out of reach. He has to hit those, especially on third down. It's the same thing here. Coverage will be cover 3 and Shedeur will actually have 2 open guys. One is Jerry Jeudy breaking in here and Bond toasting the corner with his speed in just a moment. Sanders has to see this big time throw. With Bond running a post, he will get easy breakaway speed, but more importantly, the safety already has his hips turned around, and that split second move to go back deep for the safety makes this post wide open. Sanders doesn't recognize it, but he goes for Jeudy, which is fine. Wide open pass as well, but he dirts it. Why he does? Again, I have no idea. There's no pressure coming. There's no deflection. There's no slight tip either. No reasonable excuse. Now this leads us into Shedeur Sanders' ultimate problem, and it's that he needs to change his entire playing style. Currently, he's building his game off of out of structure plays. The problem is he does not have the athleticism, the arm talent, arm strength to do that. He isn't Patrick Mahomes or Caleb Williams. I would be shocked if someone hasn't been drilling that in him, that he can't be playing like that. He has to play like a pocket passer or a game manager. That's what his physical tools allow him to do, and really, he could, in theory, be an excellent quarterback if he did that. Like a theoretical better Kirk Cousins that is more aggressive. The problem with that is that you saw him get fried when defenses rotate coverages and him just not seeing the field correctly. And well, I guess as I say that, he probably wouldn't be good at that either if he's struggling with processing. My overall thoughts on Shedeur Sanders in his rookie season was, it was rough. It was worse than I even expected him to be. Like I thought he would change his playing style to some degree, like be at least in a lukewarm state of in between, and He didn't change at all. I think a lot of people are making excuses for him because of the supporting cast or even the coach, which is ridiculous to me. Kevin Stefanski has been and still is in this past year doing a really good job given the circumstances. More importantly, sure, the supporting cast was not good, but it was not the reason why Shedeur was bad. You can clearly separate the plays where his supporting cast was the problem and when it wasn't. With the plays that we looked at, there's not plays where the supporting cast was a major issue. Is that Shedeur Sanders was messing up in the worst ways possible. I have a more overall detailed breakdown of Shedeur Sanders that you can read on my Patreon, which is free, so the direct link to that is in the description. If you want to see my thoughts on Shedeur Sanders coming out of college, the video is here. I also have made a bunch of videos on the 2026 QB draft class, and there's more videos coming out for that, and that playlist is here. Any water? Nice, dude. That's embarrassing.